We make these every year at Thanksgiving. The yams that are the red ones or the purple ones. Before you decide to get a can of yams, these are really simple to make. They're not difficult at all, and they're probably my favorite side dish at Thanksgiving. I love all the sides, but I think yams have been on my list as the top #1 side dish since I was a kid. So I'm going to show you how to make some delicious sweet candied yams, and I'm going to show you how simple they are to make. I hope you'll enjoy this. Okay, so after you wash the yams, you boil water just in a pot that's the right size that's going to fit your yams in it. Sometimes you have much larger yams, so you'll need a much larger pot. So once it starts boiling, you add the yams. And now you're going to boil these about 15 to 20 minutes until you can take a knife and poke it in and it goes all the way in and comes out smoothly. That's when you'll know they're done. So you don't have to do anything, just keep them in there boiling. You do want to check on them because depending on how large your yams are or how many you have, it could take longer. So here they are. Okay, these are definitely done. You can tell just by looking, and you poke your knife and it goes all the way through. So what you do is you're going to remove them from the pot and let them set a while to cool. They're very soft. So you're going to take them all out and you're going to let them cool for maybe a half hour. So these also, these red or purple yams, they stain. So you do have to be careful with what you're wearing because they will stain your clothes. So what you can do while they're still hot, they're easier to peel the skins off. So you can do this if you want. They're hot, but they're much easier to peel when they're hot. Or you can wait till they cool. But this is the way I peel them. I kind of do them when they're still hot, but you can do them either way. So there is a top layer right here, and you do want to peel that off as well. See, that little layer isn't going to be there for your yams. So that's how you do it. You'll get a knife and you just very carefully peel that off. So you can slice them if you want when they're still warm, or you can wait for them to cool. Now, I've been making these for years, and I personally prefer to cut them when they're still kind of warm. And I like to peel them when they're warm, but it definitely doesn't have to be that way. It can be done however you want to do it. So I slice them like this, kind of lengthwise, and I cut the ends off as much as I can. So as you slice them, you just put them in a different little dish so that you can continue slicing them up. You can cut them in half like this too. They don't have to be that long. You can have smaller pieces. But you want to cut them about like this, like about a ½ inch. That's how thick you want them. You don't want them real thick. And you don't want them too thin either, but right about like that. So here's your yams all sliced up and ready to be cooked. So I do them in batches. So now I'll show you how. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put a cube of butter in a saucepan. You will burn it if you turn it up high. So everything's going to be done on low. So we're going to turn our burner on low and start melting the butter. The one thing about butter is it can burn if it's heated up at a high temp. I don't use specific amounts of brown sugar or butter. I just look at it and I can tell what it needs. So I'm going to first melt the butter down till it's all the way melted. And then I'm going to be adding some brown sugar in. And as soon as this butter melts down, I'll show you how I do it. Okay, so your butter is all melted. This is on low. So now you're going to take some of your brown sugar. You can use light or dark brown sugar. It makes no difference. And like I said, I don't measure. I just take a couple of scoops at a time and kind of stir it around. And you know, you want the brown sugar to be fresh and no hard lumps in it or anything. So I'm going to keep adding more until I feel like that's about right. It's a consistency that I'm looking for here. So, and like I said, you still have it on low. You don't want anything to burn. So I see that it shows a lot of butter here still, so I'm going to get a little more brown sugar still. And like I said, you don't want hard brown sugar. You want fresh brown sugar that doesn't have a bunch of hard pieces in it. So I'm going to start adding the yams now. Okay, so you're going to start adding your yams. And once you get them all in, however many you're going to fit in there, then you'll turn it up a little. You could probably fit about 7 or 8 of them in here. It's okay if you crowd these. That's not a problem to crowd your sweet potatoes. And if they get all mashed together, it can happen at times. That's fine too. Okay, this is about how many you want to fit in depending on what size your saucepan is. And now we're going to turn up the heat a little, probably to a medium low. And you're just going to, like, they're already cooked because you boiled them. But now they're going to kind of sizzle in the brown sugar. And you can see it kind of starting to sizzle. So you're going to cook these, or kind of let them simmer in the sauce, the brown sugar and butter sauce, for probably about 3 minutes on each side. You can see it starting to sizzle. So then what the thing is you take a little bit of the brown sugar and the butter, and you just take it off the sides and kind of put it on top, and you just keep letting this simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes. And after a few minutes, you'll flip them over, just like that. And you're going to continue to just kind of put the sauce over it like this. And then even though it looks like it has a whole lot of brown sugar, I'm still going to add more. So I'm adding more still. Just like this. The better yams, and the reason most people like them is they're like sweet. And so you want a lot of brown sugar on them. You want them to be like this. That's the whole purpose of them. They're sweet. So this is kind of how you want them. And then what we're going to do is individually take them out and put them in a casserole dish. So these are cooked. They've just been kind of marinated in the sweet butter brown sugar. Okay, so now I'm using a one that doesn't have holes on the bottom. I'm going to go do this really fast. And I'm going to just empty all these yams into the other pan, but I'm not putting the brown sugar in until I'm done cooking all of them, and then I'll pour all that sauce over all of them. So here's our second batch, the rest of the yams, and it really makes quite a bit of them, and those weren't like huge yams. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to like pour the sauce over it and then flip them over, cook them about 3 minutes on each side, just so the brown sugar and butter can get absorbed in it. And there are some, you can have smaller pieces and end pieces. It doesn't matter. It's all going to be delicious. Okay, these look so yummy. These are the yams. I've transferred all of them into the casserole dish. And now what I'm going to do is take the rest of the sauce, all the brown sugar and butter, and pour it all over. So now they're done. What I do now, if I'm serving, Thanksgiving dinner or any kind of dinner, I put the casserole lid on, and then I put them about 30 minutes before we eat. I put them on like 200 degrees really low and just let them stay warm. They're ready. You could eat them right now. But we're going to put them in a casserole dish because that's how you'll serve them anyway. And they're done. I hope you enjoy this recipe. There's nothing like homemade yams. Sweet candied yams. Delicious.